Welcome! I first want to start by introducing myself. My name is Justin Kim. I currently am a 5th year student studying at Macquarie University. The program that I'm currently undertaking is a double degree of a Bachelor of Commerce majoring in Marketing and a Bachelor of Arts majoring in Psychology. Up until now, I've done several units across the years and even studied abroad in Norway, the University of Bergen. However, my favourite subjects up until now has to be Marketing 303, Marketing Strategy, and Psych 399, putting theory into practice. Although through the duration of my tertiary education, every subject has its own importance. Personally, for me the reason these two units stand out is a sense of completion and how the knowledge that I've gathered throughout the years have real life applications and impacts, thus ultimately forming a foundation to my career and future prospects. So, that's a little about myself, but what makes me unique and makes me your preference when hiring? Hopefully, I can convince you that I am the perfect candidate and can confirm that I meet all your requirements. Firstly, I would like to talk about my leadership skills, driven by success, and the goals I put in all my effort to both guiding fellow colleagues and by taking command when necessary. My experience of being a manager at the Missing Spoon Cafe has presented many challenges where there are unexpected events that present themselves on a daily basis. But my ability to adapt and lead uses these daily challenges as an opportunity to develop rather than a hindrance. Secondly, is my communication skills with both those in the workforce and with clients. By being empathetic and sympathetic, I change my method of approach and communications based on the situations. This was very current in my work at McDonald's in the customer service field, but more apparent in my recent job as a swimming coach and how I deal with the students, the staff, and the parents. This skill is transferable to the workplace, allowing me to communicate to customers effectively, but also empathetically by adapting to the individual customer. My philosophy regarding ethics derives from two standpoints. Firstly, from a marketing perspective, I strongly believe in the 3 major points of ethical marketing: honesty, fairness, and responsibility. Although all 3 points overlap each other at some point, each point has its own unique characteristic that I believe needs to be followed in order for companies not only to strive, but morally be in the right. If there is one without the other, I don't believe it's fair for any party involved, and generally believe that such actions must be reprimanded for the sake of the ethical equilibrium. Secondly, for more of a personal perspective, I believe we live in a society that follows the virtual approach, but I personally believe in the ethical approach of the common good. Especially in the case of a country as diverse as Australia, it is always important to consider everyone's opinion and aim for the potential best ethical action. However, as a realistic person, I know that the majority of the time this will not be the case, and compromises must be made. Nevertheless, this is the ethical approach that I personally believe in and think that would be the most beneficial for all. My thoughts on corporate social responsibilities draws back to 2 key events that occurred within the last couple of years. From a very negative CSR example, Volkswagen had falsely advertised their emission statement and refused to be held accountable and was socially responsible for their misleading conduct. On the other hand, from a very positive CSR example, Samsung had the issue of the Galaxy Note 8 and the malfunctions that came with the phone. However, in contrast to Volkswagen, they admittedly accepted the fact that there was flaws and held responsible for this. To me, by observing these 2 scenarios, it only shows me the importance of how, although both companies made an immediate loss, by taking the right steps and responsibility, companies can grow and develop, not only causing less damage to their brands, but also gaining more trust with their customers. Both scenarios demonstrated to me that in reality, you can make mistakes. However, the most important thing is what you do afterwards. So, how does this affect my future career in marketing? By combining the knowledge from both my degrees, I want to work in the field of either clinical psychology or organizational psychology. Ethics, regardless, in both scenarios, is an essential part to my future goals. By taking into account of ethics in marketing, the common good ethics, and the CSR, a holistic approach can be derived and be applied to the workforce. Through continuing to always be honest, fair, and responsible to my actions, clients will feel secure, safe, and with my services and myself as well. My aim is always to think of the common good, and even in the most complex situations, I will strive to find solutions that benefit the all. Finally, I will always keep in mind the importance of CSR, and although sometimes there will be cases of losses and mistakes, there is a correct approach, and that is through thinking of the company, the stakeholders, and the public. Thank you for your time and listening to my video, and hope to hear back from you soon.